How you doing, folks? And welcome to Recovery Now 2025. Wow. This is our first show of the year, and I thought we'd do something different. So I have a friend of mine who's going to guest host the show. He's the host of Clock Hour, Mark Kimmel.
Thank you, and we'll be back in a second to get this conversation going, and that's it.
Sorry.
No. Welcome to Recovery Now. I'm your guest host for the day, Marv Kennel, and my guest is your normal host, Mr. June, and then I have another guest up here with me, my man Ronnie Cardoza. Y'all know him, y'all have seen him on my show and everything, and you see him around town and everything. Very outspoken brother, and we gonna give him the floor. So, Mr. June, talk to me about this recovery thing, man, because we can broaden it, or we can break it down into little pieces. But you know what? Before I get started, I'm gonna put another bug in your ear. You know what my conversation was? Nobody talks about the demand for the substance in this country. They blame, oh, let's blame it on them for bringing it in, blame it on them for bringing it in. But this country has the largest demand for substance than any other country in the world.
Yep. And unfortunately, the government doesn't want to admit that. The government, I don't want to put the government down but they're not doing everything that they can, because a lot of that stuff, they get money off of a lot of that
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
believe it or not. I mean, marijuana just became legal.
Right.
After all the years of all they did that they went through, now it's legal.
The incarceration and
Yeah,
everything.
and if they find ways to make other stuff legal, they're gonna do it, long as they could get money off of it. A lot of the people in the United States are not getting the help that they need or that they should get. There's not enough programs, and the ones that are out there, some of them are government owned. They're there for the money, and some of them are there to help people.
Right.
And the reason I'm doing this here is because I want to be part of the solution.
Okay.
We need more solution
Right.
than what's out there. The government only goes after certain things. There's certain things they don't touch. And I'm not anti-government,
Right.
so don't
But
don't get it like that. But I call it as I see it.
right.
And I worked at a couple rehabs. On my clean date is August 29. I'll be 14. And when I was out there, I had no idea that there was such thing as recovery.
Right. So you got a long journey in this.
Yeah. So and I stumbled by mistake
Right.
because I was sent to a rehab.
Uh-huh.
I lost my memory. My job, I asked my job for help. They said they were going to send me to see a doctor. What they did was send me to a rehab because they were trying to get rid of me for a while. And that's how I discovered recovery.
What do you mean get rid of you?
Because every time they gave me a drug test, back in the day, the cops didn't have body temperature, so you could use other people's urine.
Okay.
And I was doing that for 6 years, and they knew, but they couldn't get me.
So they were trying to lock you up.
Yeah, they were trying to fire me.
Oh, okay.
I
From
used
where
to-
you worked at that
Yeah, I
time.
used to work at Trenton Psychiatric.
Okay. So you're
And-
not from up here. You're from
From Trenton. Yeah.
okay.
And what they did was when I lost my memory and I knew I had a problem up here, I asked the union for help. They went, "Oh, we're gonna help you."
Yeah.
They sent me to Florida for recovery, and from there, when I detoxed, I looked around and I didn't know what to do. First of all, I couldn't remember about me or my family. So everything that I learned, I was reborn in recovery.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that makes sense. And
It does,
so,
because that's a whole nother world from you being high,
right,
right?
yeah,
So
How old was you? I'm sorry.
go ahead.
45. I was 45
Oh, okay.
45 from when?
from when I
When
got
you
clean.
started.
Yeah, when I got clean.
When did you start?
When I started, I was 4.
Wait
I
a
had a taste of moonshine, and my dad used to feed me the fuzz from the beer.
Right.
And at the age of 12, I discovered weed, and then later that year, I discovered coke, masculines, all kinds of drugs. I mean, and it went on. It went on until I was 45.
Wow. You had a long run. So
And-
God bless you. You are still here.
Dude, you should. We don't have time for me to tell you my story,
Right.
Because
Right.
the shit that, excuse my language,
Right.
I was told about that.
Nah,
So-
it was
it makes you
worse.
human. It makes you
Most of us have that drug story. Whether it was someone close to us, someone
Right.
distant from us, or where we grew up,
Right.
our environment and everything. So to hear that you started your journey at that age and
Yeah.
just continued on up until you're like 45, you're
I
like,
know-
wait a minute, hold on.
I met other people that started young like that.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm not the only one.
Right.
And
Ronnie?
can I say something?
Yeah.
It's like what you were saying, and I get like the political stuff like that, but you know what? When I talk about stuff, if I'm gonna talk about a problem, I want to know the symptoms. Mm-hmm. And the government did have their hand in a lot of this drug stuff. Back the CIA, when they did the stuff flooding it in L.A., flooding California with that, they was
With the
part
crack.
of it. It was a crack, and it was part of it. And even now, you got people that talks a lot of trash about saying, like, with the immigrants and stuff like that. I said, you know how you stop the drugs coming in here from other countries and stuff?
Stop
Tell America to stop getting high.
Yeah.
Supply and demand. I was stationed in Fort Camp. I was in the military, when I was in like '89, I was stationed down in Fort Bliss, Texas. I went to Juarez, Mexico.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with how all that works, is like the reason why they got people that leaving, because they don't want their daughters to be prostitutes. They don't want their sons to
they
be in
want
gangs.
a better life.
So they want a better life. So I told people, and then I said, we got our hands in a lot of stuff. And I told, even like with Venezuela, I told them, I said, the reason why they coming over here is what we did to them 30 years ago. But see, like I said, I keep telling people, I said, the analogy I use all the time is like, you want a big, fat, juicy cheeseburger, but you don't want to know how that cow died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're a problem for a lot of things. And what it is, we're paying for our sins, because a lot of stuff was
Uh-oh.
prime. Oh, sorry. It was prime for us to to fail. But what happened was we came together.
Hold it.
One second.
Pause. Put it on the yeah, I was I've been down to Mexico, and I've been to different countries. And I was in Amsterdam one year, and I asked them, do y'all frequent those spots? Amsterdam big on, they got the little, the weed and the hash. And they said, no, those are locals. I hung with locals. They said, we don't go to them. The tourists go to them.
Yeah.
So those kids coming from the United States and coming from Europe and stuff like that. So, like, I was talking about the demand. And you're right, the demand. If the demand was down, there wouldn't be no sales.
Right.
So, like, even taking dope these days, dope went from $10 to about $3, $5 now, and you think about what they used to do to the Vietnam vets. They were getting doped up over there. So it's our problem. I'm not going to say it's just your problem. It's our problem, which meaning this country, this government, in the United States, demand is so high.
But you also got to know the system. You got to understand,
Right.
understand the system.
Right.
It's made for people to fail. And I told you, I said, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, that's how we're going to win or whatever you want, how you want to call it. Like we're going to move on or whatever. It's the fact to be honest about how a lot of these things work. And it's like supply and demand. It's also like saying that, it's money to be made. And I keep telling people, America's a corporation
Yeah.
and religion is a business. And if we understand that, we can maneuver around the landmines. But it's a lot of stuff going on that happened. But what it is, what messes them up is like they think it's going to affect one group of people, but because the other group of people want to get a taste, now it's affected them. Now they want to do something about it. And I keep it 100. I keep it moving. So
Right.
that's what's going on.
Addiction is not prejudice.
Right,
It
right.
doesn't matter whether you're black, white, red,
Right.
yellow. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Whether
That's-
you're a guy or a girl, doesn't matter.
That's like during the crack era, right? They didn't call crack an epidemic until they found out little Susie and Timmy getting high. They live in
Yeah,
Greenwich.
yeah,
They live in Greenwich and they drive into the city or
Yeah.
driving to Bridgeport getting high and leaving their cars and stuff. It didn't become an epidemic until after that. You
Now
know?
fentanyl, what's going on now? The reason why they starting to do stuff about it because why? It's affecting the rural
More
area.
than just everybody
rural,
else.
The suburbs. So it is what
But
it
boom.
is.
See, the thing is that it doesn't matter what the drug is,
Right.
Or because they're coming out with all these. If they can't get this, they got a lab set up somewhere where they're gonna invent something that does that. But of course, they'll kill you in the process.
Right.
But they don't care because it's all about the money.
Right.
But what I even forgot what I was gonna say. Oh my god.
It's okay.
You know,
sorry about
But
that,
you know what? They
Oh.
used to give out fentanyl patches in Massachusetts.
Right.
You know, I don't know what they did, or what it affects or what it causes, but it's killing folks. Huh?
Right. Yeah, I was the Susie thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's who.
Right.
The drugs, no matter what drug it is, it's gonna get everybody that has an addiction problem, that has an addiction personality, that has the disease. You might have the disease and don't even know it until
Right.
you try this new drug. Oh yeah, man, this will get you high for a couple of seconds, but that's it. And once you try it, you're hooked. You woke up the disease. Now you can't get rid of it. Now you got a problem because now you're looking for other shit to fill out that void, and that's how it starts.
Right.
It doesn't matter whether you're rich, you're
Yeah.
poor, whether you're black, you're
Right.
white. If you got an addictive personality, if you got the disease, once you taste any kind of drug, you're hooked.
Because we came up in that crack era,
Right.
and you watch. I mean, I took off and went to the Navy, but I seen people that were,
Yeah.
making it to. Let me borrow $10. Can I get $10? When I got off the bus,
Yeah.
I'm coming home.
See, but nobody was safe because I went in the Army in '86, and when I came back, the people that was on it, I was like, it shocked the living daylights from me. It was like people that was like that you would never think would do something like that.
Right.
But like I said, no. The thing to me was it was like a wave, and people just got caught up in that wave.
Right.
And then, like I said, if you wasn't strong, you was gonna get caught up in it. Nobody was it was like safe, but it was like it was all spectrums.
Right.
And what it is, and a lot of things was peer pressure too.
Yeah,
and
that too.
I was never that follower. I've never. I
Right.
mean, somebody telling
Right.
me to take this. I mean, you crazy.
Right.
And so what it was is like it was like the weakness of it, of how people was around it, and it was sad though, because I seen some people that didn't make it.
Right. I understand what you just said. People that didn't make it.
Right.
I lost a lot of friends.
I lost a couple people close to me too, so I
But
understand.
addiction. Look, addiction. And the only reason I talk about it, and I'm passionate about it, and at this show, is because I had the problem. I'm an alcoholic addict. I'm going on 14 years clean. I didn't ask to be this way.
God bless you.
Um, I didn't even it didn't even matter when I was in it, you know. It was just the way I was, you know. And as I got older, it got worse because I forgot to grow up, you know. You go from a kid to a teenager, then you get yourself a part-time job, you go to college, you come out, you get a career. I didn't do any of that stuff, you know, because I was too busy getting high. It was my way of life. I was the guy that was in the corner that the kid admired. Oh wow! Then the kid grew up, went to college, and I'm looking at the kid. The kid has a nice house, a nice car. Then his children are passing me by, and I'm still in the corner. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I didn't see myself as an addict, you know,
Right.
or an alcoholic because I always had a job, you know.
He's
But
functioning.
Yeah, but
What'd you call it?
He was functioning.
yeah.
Right. That's it.
But what happened was when I
Right.
wound up at the rehab in Florida and I detoxed. Um,
What made you? What was that step for you to cross that line to get the help?
well, I lost my memory, and I thought I was going crazy, and I didn't want to live where I worked, Trenton Psychiatric. And I said, I need help. I can't remember my name. I had to look at my ID, my driver's license, and then at first I didn't even recognize the person in it. Who is this? And it was me. Um,
Really?
But and it got worse. What happened was somebody hit me over the head. I don't remember how but I was on my way home. My routine was I get everything I need for the rest of the night, so I don't have to go out. All my drugs, alcohol, and everything. I woke up in my room, my apartment. Everything was there, and I was covered in blood, and I had a gash right here. The skull ripped through my brain and made a little tear, and it says I never went to the hospital. It didn't heal right. So now I forget things. I sometimes I'm talking and I freeze. I could know you for a long time, and suddenly I don't remember your name, and and I could hear what I want to say sometimes, but I forget how to talk. And they told me, doctor said this is permanent.
And
Right.
see, and
There is no undoing.
Yep.
but see, what you just said something right, and that's why I try to tell people it's like it's okay because when you said like I saw how you paused and then you said psychiatric, and I'm thinking like it's nothing to be ashamed of.
No,
Because
no, it's
we
not.
all have problems. Because you know what, I fought depression, and I was suicidal.
Right.
Due to the fact that my best friend in the military got killed in a car accident. The one time I didn't get in the passenger side because my roommate had a Nissan Maxima and he had a kid in. We called it the
Right.
Batmobile, and I was the passenger side, so I was always sitting in the passenger side. And the one time I didn't get in that car, a drunk driver came out the lane and hit him head on, and I
Right.
lost it. But it was like me going through life as in like being that way. And the only reason why I didn't do it is I love God. And I said, if I kill myself, I won't be able to meet him.
Right.
So that's what kept me alive. But then in '99, when my daughter was born, boom, the next thing you know, it changed my life. But what I'm saying, the point I'm making is saying that, you know what, it's okay. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And some
Yeah.
people still like, they have that like that little like coding like, well, and they start whispering about, no, it's okay
No.
to admit that, you know what, I've been through it. But the crazy, the good thing about it is you got up. You're
Yeah.
standing. You're sitting
Right.
right here.
Well,
so
you-
that's what's
and-
good about this.
You
It-
mentioned something that we haven't even touched.
Right.
You mentioned God.
Right.
I did not believe in God ever.
So you
while
had
I was,
demons.
While I was in recovery and I detox, I went through a few things and I realized, oh my God, and I said, God, because my mom was very religious and people in my family. And I said, you got it, Mom, and you were always with her. What happened to me? I know that I did these things to myself.
Or did you believe in him?
No,
You didn't believe?
But
was because he was
but-
angry or?
no, I just never because of the way my life was.
Okay, see, this is
I
the
always blamed. That's the
There
thing
we go,
about
see,
the
you get it out.
alcoholic addict is
Right.
always blaming everybody else
Exactly.
for their shit.
Right.
but they don't own your shit.
Right.
Okay.
It's your fault.
So that's what happened to me.
See?
That particular day. I said to God, please, if you're real, if you're there, help me. You know, I said, I promise you, if you help me, don't erase me, because I felt I was disappearing up here. You know, I said, if you help me with your help and the help of this program, I promise you that I will move forward and I will do what I can for the next person. And that's what I do today.
And you understand too. It's a verse that says, "And when you find yourself, you will find me."
Right.
So what it's basically saying is, when you find yourself as in, like, doing things that what God would want you to do,
Right.
then it start coming closer. And next thing you know, boom, you start forming it. Where you're saying
Right.
that, look, I'm gonna do good things. I'm gonna do godly things, and that's what you're doing. So I know that you're close to God because of what you're doing. You're putting a
Right.
message out.
And
for
he found
other people.
himself.
See what I'm saying? So you found yourself,
Right.
and that's what it's all about. This journey in life. And when we start expressing, when we start telling our story, and to me, I don't look at it as saying I want somebody to feel sorry for me. I'm telling it's a testimony saying that, you know what, you could do it too.
Yeah, that's
See what I'm
what that's what this show's about.
See, exactly.
That's what the show's about.
And like I said, a lot of
you
times
know.
God put you in a situation like the energy. And look, I was just going to do Marv's show and
Right.
be on my way.
Right.
But look what happened. I'm
Right.
sitting here right now, and I told you everything is for a reason. I don't believe in the coincidence. I just know
Right.
that it's meant to be because
Right.
of how you are. And the way how I govern myself is that, being bigger than myself. You see? Because I know
Yeah.
I am godly. And it ain't like saying that I'm this stature, whatever. It's just saying that I believe
Right.
in myself. And like I said, the closer that you're to God is what you do. So,
Right.
I am not religious. Okay, my mom
Me neither. I'm
was.
spiritual.
But like I said, I found God. I believe in God, and I believe in Jesus. And I believe that without God in my life, none of this 14 years that I so far have would have been possible. Everything that happened to me since is because I put my faith in God and I do the footwork. It ain't just saying, God,
Right.
help me, and God's gonna come with the cane and
But
it don't work that way.
But he helped
It-
those
it-
that help themselves.
Yes,
And
God,
you know what?
God will open the door. God will guide
Right.
you. And if you don't pay attention, you're gonna miss it.
and what's
And God is always been there.
Right.
I just never
On
noticed.
time.
I just never noticed. And God never turns his back on you, but He
Right.
waits until you ask for Him. God,
Right.
God does not force Himself on you.
But what he does is he'll knock on your door. If you don't answer it,
Yes.
that's on you. You'll notice the knock on your door. Like, I had a heart attack.
Right.
I was smoking.
Right.
Ain't picked up a cigarette since.
Me either. I haven't.
He gave me a heart attack. He gave me the warning.
Yeah.
Then I ended up picking him back up. And then he said, well, you didn't get it the first time. Let me
Yeah.
go ahead and teach you that lesson. So I got that line in the middle of my chest.
Right.
Here's that lesson.
Cause I keep telling people that.
Right.
I keep telling. I said, look,
Come on.
you go to God, you ask Him for help,
Right.
but what are you willing to do? It's like, oh, I need help, but you won't put down the fast food.
Right.
You won't
Stop
put
it.
down the cigarettes. You
Yeah.
won't. I'm thinking like, yo,
And-
why should He help you if you're not gonna help yourself?
And the thing is that we're always asking God for help, and we don't realize that, like I said, God doesn't do the thing. God will tell you go that way, and if you don't go that way because you ain't paying attention, you got to do the footwork.
You gotta come to
God
Him. But when
guides
you're
you.
walking towards Him,
God guides you,
Right.
and God will like I said, and sometimes you want something, and you don't get it, and you get mad at God. Why? And you don't realize that God doesn't give you what you want. God gives you what you need.
Bingo. Say it again. One more time.
God doesn't give you what you want. God gives you what you need. And I realized that. So whenever I ask for something and I try to get it and it don't work out, I don't get mad anymore. I don't be like, why God? I be like, okay, whatever you know.
So
And
you actually, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. You work in that environment now, right?
Yes.
So you're operating on this level, and then you're actually working
Yeah.
in that environment.
Yes.
So you're doing the job.
That's right.
Okay.
I believe practice what you preach.
Right.
And what I preach is not preaching; it's actually um, lessons that I learned.
Right.
This is what's keeping me clean,
And you can pass that information
and I
on.
want to pass it on to you. If anything that I say could help you, then
Okay.
use it. Use it.
Right.
That's what this show is about. Recovery now. It's now. Don't wait for tomorrow, because
Right.
we don't know how many tomorrows we got.
Look, I lost
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
They don't want to admit it.
the majority
or
of the
don't wanna
people
look
I
at it
grew
like
up
that.
with, the majority of the people I grew up with, my friends that were really tight, they're all gone. You know,
And we're losing a lot of people lately.
and I decided to move forward in my life instead of trying to figure out what my past was like, because
Right.
I have a few memories, and I was told a lot, and I don't like none of it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one thing about it,
Out of 100%,
Right.
there's maybe like 3% good things.
if you can't learn from your past, then
No,
it was all for nothing.
But look, you know, my past was pretty much almost erased.
Right.
So I decided, why keep bothering? My family disowned me. Nobody wants nothing to do with me. They don't see they don't see this June.
They got to tune into the Recovery Now
but
show.
see-
That's what they
but
need
see,
to do.
a lot of people, when you're down and out like that,
Right.
and you got a lot of people that love you, and they're hurt every time that you go back and you go back and
Oh,
you
yeah.
go back, and then after a while they give up on you.
Right.
You know, but the thing is that you cannot give up on you.
Right. So I need
know?
some last words from you. We got a couple of minutes left. I need some last words from you and some last words from
Well,
Ronnie.
As far as recovery, man, it's open out there, man. You could do this.
Right.
Put your faith in God, do the footwork, and have a plan for life, man, and be good to yourself, man. God loves you, man.
Right. Ronnie?
Yo, real quick, I just tell people, look within yourself. He's there. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta find yourself. You gotta look yourself in the mirror, and you gotta just realize, what do I want to do? And I
Right.
keep telling people, I said, when people say like, oh, God's in
Right.
control, He is.
Right.
So you know, but like I said, you also it's up to us too how we gonna do it.
Right. And that's our show for today. Recovery Now. I appreciate you having me on as your guest host. I enjoy this. I enjoy a good conversation. Good conversation worth a lot of money. Recovery Now, recovery tomorrow, recovery today, and recovery later.